A little girl walks alone down a ragged street as the sun is sinking down. Hands in her empty pockets, she feels out of place in this bad section of town. She dreams of a place that's always safe and warm, offering protection and shelter from the storm. She dreams of a world where she's happy to be, a peaceful haven where she can be free. And she says, when I grow up I wanna be a firefly, 'cause fireflies shine so bright. They stay out all night long and disappear into the dawn, leaving a trail of their light. She sits in a place between two worlds, a firefly dream trapped inside a little girl. Wings straining as she yearns to reach the sky. She can't imagine one day she'll fly. She has the strength to understand from the inside out. Many questions, many answers in her heart. She makes her way along her path. She dreams, she reaches for the stars. And she says, when I grow up I want to be a firefly, 'cause fireflies shine so bright. They stay out all night long and disappear into the dawn, leaving a trail of their light. When I grow up I want to be a firefly, 'cause fireflies shine so bright. They stay out all night long and disappear into the dawn, leaving a trail of their light, leaving a trail of their light.
Good morning. My name is Lynn Richard, and I'm so happy to be a part of this very special service today. That was Barbara Whitney, our music director, and I remember when she was writing that song. I absolutely love the imagery in that. We are all fireflies. We just need to lift the veil and shine our light, go around the world, and we always say don't hide your light under a bushel. You can't do that, but let other people see it. Let other people see your firefly inside you. Thanks, Barb. That was beautiful. And I wonder, well, welcome all the new listeners. Or actually, if you're here every week, we welcome you too. We're happy that you're here. We're going to have a wonderful service today. It's the White Stone ceremony. And because we're not gathering, I went out and found my own. I found a beautiful little flat stone that I'm going to use. You can use a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. It's the intention that matters. And so, Barbara, did you have another song for us?
Already? Wow.
We want you. What do you got in store for us now?
This is the White Stone song,
Oh,
because
perfect.
this is a White Stone ceremony.
That's right.
At least that's what I was told. Today as I stand open to divinity in me, I choose my name, I choose my name, a name chosen by spirit, and then whispered to my heart. From this day I am awakened to the nature God intended with my name. I write this name on a white stone, a stone that means both purity and truth. In wisdom, silent strength, my name expresses God in me. On this white stone, on this white stone, I write my name.
Beautiful. Thank you. We also have another practice that I love. As soon as I learned about this, it must be almost 20 years ago now, I get the Daily Word. It's a little magazine, and it's a great way to start your day. If you get the magazine or the digital version, there are nice little poems and stories in there too that are very uplifting. And today's daily word is rise. I rise in consciousness to help create a world that works for all. Throughout time, there have been people who led lives that changed the world forever. Their words and deeds provided hope and inspiration for those who would carry forth their legacies of love, growth, and evolution long after they left this life. Their most powerful contribution, however, was their ability to inspire others to express their own divine purpose. As more and more people reach their highest potential, the whole of humanity ascends. Today, I honor those who have led lives of service, striving for love, truth, and justice. I take steps not just to commemorate their journeys and contributions, but to embark upon my own. I rise, grateful to contribute all that I can to the growth and evolution of humankind. Our scripture today is from Ezra chapter 10, verse 4. Take action, for it is your duty, and we are with you. Be strong and do it. I love that. So today's word is rise, and the thought we can keep with us during the day is I rise in consciousness to help create a world that works for all. And that's our daily word. We do have a mission, and we have a mission statement. And you will see it scrolling at the bottom, and I'll read it. If you have it memorized, then you can join me. And our mission statement is, we are a loving, nurturing community. We're dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. And again, that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen so that you can read it. For anyone wishing to be added to our prayer list, if you want someone pray for you or someone in your family, a neighbor, a friend, to pray for consolation, comfort, celebration, whatever it may be, to add someone to the list, just email Tom, our Reverend, at tscheinler, T as in Thomas, SCHEINLER at yahoo.com, and he'll make sure that you get on our prayer list. And another way to do it would be in the chat below to put the initials of the person or first name, last initial, and we will be sure that the prayer team gets that. And our prayer team here at Unity prays for 30 days for that person or situation, and then it goes to Unity Worldwide Ministry, Silent Unity, where it is prayed on for another 30 days, 24/7. And there's also, if you go on unity.org, there's a number you can call if you need to speak to someone and hear their voice. I have done that in the middle of the night when we were having some kind of a crisis, and it is so comforting to have a real person talk to you and pray with you, and that is available to anyone, everyone. So I don't know when the last time you were on our website was, but we invite you to look. We're trying to keep it updated with new information. There are past services there. There's all kinds of wonderful writings on there, spiritual writings. The Google Calendar's on there if you want to look for things that are coming up. unityoftheseacoast.org is our website, and there's a lot to see on there. I encourage you to go. When you're on the website, you'll notice, like most websites, there's a donate button. You just kind of scroll down until you see that button. Our giving platform is called Tithely, and it's very easy. It's wonderful. You can set up weekly donations, monthly donations, or just a one-time donation. And it's very easy to just tap on it, fill the information in, and you're done. And we get that money within probably 4 days. It's deposited into the bank. So thank you if you've already tried it. And if you haven't, give it a go. See what it's like. Now, some people still like to send checks, or they have their checks sent through their bank account. And if it's your bank account or you're writing a check, remember our new address, and it was in error the first month, I think, that we were giving it. Our new address is Unity of the Seacoast, Post Office Box 1676, Dover, New Hampshire, 03821. So make sure you have the 1676. And again, if you're tithing through your bank, make sure you go in and change that address in your online banking. Thank you. Charlie Richard, my husband and our prayer team chaplain, does a meditation for us on the first Monday of every month. So in February, it'll be February 7th at 7 p.m. And they're delightful. They're short, but they're meaningful. It's a wonderful way to start your week in the right place of consciousness. And they are also archived, so you can go on our new YouTube channel and see them there, and I believe they're on the website too. So if you've missed some, but you feel like you need a little time for a meditation, just go on there, and you can do that. They're 15 to 20 minutes maybe. There was one whole body meditation that was a bit long. I think that was like a half an hour, 45 minutes, but that is a really good one to do when you're stressed out too. So take advantage of that. So another thing to look forward to is on January 30th, Frank Barron is going to be our speaker. And I don't know if you've heard Frank before, but he always lends a wonderful sense of humor and levity to whatever serious topic he's talking about. And he is a joy to listen to. So please join us Sunday, January 30th. That'll be wonderful. Today is an important day. It's interesting that it comes in alignment with the White Stone ceremony and also putting action to our prayers. But today is our annual membership meeting. This large meeting only happens once a year. It's extremely important for us to maintain our status as an evolving church. We will have issues. Anyone who sent me their email, I sent them the agenda and I sent them the bylaws that we have revised that we will need your vote on, your approval. So I do hope that you will join us today. It's so important to us to continue our work. The Zoom ID meeting and password code are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So write those down. If you missed it, I will say it slowly now so you can write it down. The ID is 897-7835-0908. The passcode is 439371. Another practice we have, again, that I absolutely love, and it's so meaningful to us. And when you've done it in person with people, it really has a deep uh, impression upon you when you're able to actually look into someone's eyes and see their spirit and they see you. Um, it's called Namaste. And in Sanskrit, we believe it means the Christ in me. Of course, the Christ is the teacher, not Jesus Christ, but the teacher in me. My spirit sees the Christ in you, the teacher in you, and your spirit. And so, as we say to each and every one of you, Namaste, dear one. And if you have someone with you in the room, as I do, I'm going to Namaste Charlie as well. Namaste, Charlie. Kitties and doggies count too. Namaste your kitties and your doggies. They always see the Christ in you, by the way. And now that I've thrown a ringer to Barbara, hey, Barb, you got a third song up your sleeve?
Sure. For all the kitties and doggies. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way. When I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way.
Thank you. Heaven guide me. I love that. Barb and I have been doing this together an awful long time. Gosh, I don't even remember how long ago. 2003 at least. And we've had a lot of joyful times together. And I certainly see the Christ in you, Barbara. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Now, I am so excited about this. Um, we have Bev Raymond with us today, who is also on her path to be a Unity Reverend and is just such a wonderful, dear, and bright light herself. She's not hiding her firefly at all. And I'm so happy that Bev's the one to do the ceremony with us today. I just think she's the perfect person, and I know that she's open and giving and willing. And so thank you, Bev, so much for being here today with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate the opportunity. I feel blessed and humbled and really so grateful to have this time to share with you. And such a beautiful ceremony to boot, the White Stone ceremony. So thank you. I want to start with some logistics. So normally in a White Stone ceremony, if we were all together, when you entered the church, we would hand you a white stone and a pen or a marker. And the idea would be that when we go into meditation and you get a word or a new name, and we'll talk a lot more about that, but that you would write this word or name on this white stone. But we're not in person. We are here virtually. So that's okay. That's okay. It still can be a really meaningful service. And what I'd love for everybody to do, though, is to have a piece of paper, a white piece of paper, and a pen, so that you can write down what you receive during meditation. And so if you don't already, take a minute at some point. I'm gonna talk for probably 15, 20 minutes. At some point, if you want to grab a piece of paper before we go into meditation, that would be great. Because I really do want us to do this today, to actually meditate and hopefully receive a message. And so yeah, that would be great. I want to give the history, a little bit of the history about this service. And there's really there's two things. I'm just going to let my dog go in the other room. There's two references really to this Whitestone ceremony. And the first is a historical reference. In the time of Jesus, when prisoners were released from prison, they were given a white stone, kind of, I guess, similar to, I don't know, I actually don't know if prisoners get papers that indicate that they're free. I'm assuming they do. So similar to that, it was kind of this white stone that was proved that they were indeed now free, that they had served their time, but it also indicated that they now had a clean slate. And could kind of begin again with this clean slate, and that's partly what this stone represented. So that's one reference to the white stone. And then the other is a biblical reference, and it's based on a passage in the book of Revelations. It's Revelations chapter 2, verse 17. And I'm going to read it to us, and then we're going to kind of go through a little bit at a time and dissect the meaning of that passage. So the passage says, again, Revelation 2:17, let anyone who has an ear to listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To everyone who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. So we're going to take that a little bit at a time, like I said, and we'll start with what the term churches means metaphysically. So metaphysically, the church is an individual's consciousness. So let anyone who has an ear to listen to what the Spirit is saying to our individual consciousness. And then the next line, to everyone who conquers. And so I want to spend a little bit of time talking about what conquering references here. And so really metaphysically, when we're conquering something, it's speaking to conquering our sense consciousness. And so let's talk about what is sense consciousness. Sense consciousness is the mental state that we have when we're acting through our five senses. And it's kind of when we're caught up in this earthly plane, and from my perspective, it's when we've forgotten, or maybe we don't know, that we're spiritual beings and we're here having a human experience. And some of us don't know that or don't believe that. And then some of us perhaps do know that, but we forget, right? We get busy in our lives and we're really caught up in what's happening on this earthly plane. And that's all fine and well, as long as it's not holding us back, right? So, and I think about, for me, from my perspective, when I was writing this talk, I was thinking about the times when I get caught up in this human experience. And I think the time that stood out to me the most is when I was younger, when I, up until I was about age 28. And I grew up in a home that wasn't super spiritual or religious. We kind of, I think, sort of agnostic at best, perhaps. I didn't grow up going to church or anything like that. And I was a pretty driven kid. And I kind of laugh at myself now, but I literally, when I was 12, I had my whole life planned of what I was going to accomplish by the time I was 30. I had decided I was going to be married. I was going to have 2 children. I was going to have a house, and I was going to have a master's degree in nursing. And I literally decided this when I was like 12 years old. And so a lot of that was about, getting my degrees and striving. And again, it's all good and well. Like, right, it's wonderful to have goals. And in fact, by the time I was 28, I was married, had two beautiful boys, a lovely house, had a master's degree in nursing, and I loved my profession, very meaningful profession as a nurse and a nurse practitioner. But I'd been so focused on all of that. And, I got to this place like, wait a minute, these were all the goals I set out for myself. And now what? And I kind of had this crisis where I wasn't sure. And I guess what I'm trying to get to is what I realized was that I had a void. I had a spiritual void. And so when we talk about conquering, it's conquering that real heavy focus. Partly because there's another piece to this, but partly it's about letting go of that real heavy focus on whatever it is that we're striving for, again, on the earthly plane. And that can be a lot of things, to a lot of people, a lot of different things to people, right? And I think of, sometimes people are really vested in material things, bigger houses, nicer cars. Some people get very focused on physical appearance. I want to be prettier. Maybe I want to be more popular. I need a higher job with a bigger title. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we strive for. And again, I'll say it again, that's all okay. It's great to have goals, but sometimes they hold us in bondage. Right? Sometimes they really keep us from feeling fulfilled because we just can't get there. We're on that treadmill. In fact, when I was 28, I bought a book and it was called The Treadmill. It was like the treadmill of life and how to get off the treadmill. And sometimes we're missing the awareness of our higher self and our awareness of our Christ consciousness. Christ in you, the hope of glory. So there can be other things that are holding us back, right? It might not be that we are striving for things. It could be that the reason we're not able to express our highest and best self is for things like addiction. Maybe it's unforgiveness. It could be resentment. And I want to refer back to the ceremony that we had 2 weeks ago, and it's totally fine if you weren't there, but 2 weeks ago, Tom Scheinler, our spiritual leader, took us through the burning bowl ceremony. And in the burning bowl ceremony, it kind of works in tandem with this one. In that ceremony, we release things. We release what might be holding us back. And so we think about what's holding us back during meditation, and we symbolically, sometimes actually physically, if we're together, we place those things, we write them down, we place them in a bowl, and we burn them. And that's representative or symbolic of us releasing those things. And Tom had some beautiful examples of that. He had selfishness, he had judgment, he had ego. So those are also examples of what might be holding us back from being our highest and best. And the idea in the burning bowl ceremony is that we release those things, and then again we have a clean slate. We have this clean white stone. So let's go back to the biblical reference. Let anyone who has an ear to listen to what the Spirit is saying to our higher consciousness, to our individual consciousness. To everyone who conquers or overcomes, I will give some of the hidden mana. And so we'll talk a little bit about what is hidden mana. And hidden mana speaks to the realization that divine substance is everywhere present. And it refers to our being sustained by inner or spiritual food. So when we release ourselves from bondage to sense, we become sustained instead by inner or spiritual food, the hidden mana. The inner food is that understanding of truth with a capital T. It's the understanding of our higher self, of divine presence, divine love, whatever you call it, the universe. It's that it's that connection, that awareness of the fact that we're spiritual beings. So, and how do we get that realization? How do we get that revealing of the indwelling Christ? We get it when we go into prayer and meditation and the silence. We can't really get there by listening to talks or by reading. I mean, certainly that's helpful, but primarily it's from truly, having that inner revelation from going within, from being in meditation and prayer and really connecting with that presence. And I'm going to read a quote from Myrtle Fillmore. So Myrtle Fillmore is a Unity. She wrote a lot of books for Unity a long time ago. Her book Lessons in Truth is considered a Unity classic. And she has a chapter in that book that speaks to the white stone as well and to this biblical reference. And I love her quote in regards to the awareness of truth. She says, "The light that you so crave will out of the deep silence become manifest from within yourself if you but keep still and look for it from that source." So I think that beautifully describes what I'm trying to say in regards to going within. So back to our biblical passage. And the last part is, "And I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name, a name that no one knows except the one who receives it." So Charles Fillmore, founder of Unity, along with his wife, Myrtle, he has a book called The Revealing Word. And that book, for those of you that are new to Unity, has all, different references to, it basically defines what words in the Bible mean metaphysically. And so he writes this as the meaning of the white stone. He says, "It's the foundation of understanding or having awareness of the truth of us. And upon that foundation, we can continue to build up and expand our true Christ self." So again, we have this clean slate. We've done, we release, we deny what's holding us back. We take this clean slate and then we build on it to become our highest expression of the Christ in us. The other idea that I want to just talk about in regards to clean slates and tapping into hidden manna is more on the kind of everyday framework, which is, clearing away any kind of negative thoughts that we might be having. And this occurred to me this week as I was out of character for me. I'm usually a pretty positive, upbeat, optimistic person, but I was feeling kind of down. During the latter part of this week. And I think, sometimes winters in Vermont get to me, as they probably do. Living in the Northeast gets to many of us that live in the Northeast. It's super cold here, like minus 12 degrees. I always struggle a little bit with the darkness, although it is getting lighter, and I do use my happy light, which helps. But I was feeling kind of down, and I found myself worrying about a bunch of things. I was worried about my hubby because he's having some health issues, and just worrying about finances, and it occurred to me, we consider Unity to be a positive spiritual path, and it's called Unity, the positive path. It's in kind of the tagline when you go to the Unity website, and it's this similar idea, like to release or deny. Unity calls it denials, denying those worry thoughts. And Unity believes that thoughts in mind produce in kind. So what we see out in the manifest world is sort of an outpouring of our thoughts. And so we want to be mindful of those thoughts, right? And this is another sort of the clean slate, and it's kind of another example of clearing away the negative and tapping in to the hidden manna or divine substance. and bringing that forth and bringing that forth. Because worrying, sometimes for me, this was happening this week. I was playing out these scenarios that are probably never going to come into fruition, and that I certainly didn't want to manifest in the world, right? I don't want to play out these negative scenarios in my mind. I want to think positively, and I want to affirm and visualize and bring forth divine substance. I want to bring forth, and I'm assuming sort of all of you, what we want to do is we want to release these worry thoughts and these negative thoughts, and we want to focus on the positive. We want to focus on the fact that we have available to us as our divine inheritance, love, wholeness. We are whole, joy, love, peace. We're abundant, we're healed, and we want to focus on those things, and we want to bring those things forth. So we're going to go into our meditation here in a few minutes, but just a couple more things. So again, we have a clean slate. We've hopefully released some of those things that have been holding us back. And now we're going to go into meditation, and we're going to hear from Holy Spirit, whatever you call it. It might be God to you. It could be love, universe, universal presence, divine presence, whatever that name is for you. But we're going to go into meditation, and we hope to hear from that place a new name or a word for 2022. And it's something that speaks to us of our expansion or greater expression of our Christ self. And before we do, I just want to make a couple of comments. One is to have an open mind and an open heart. This is not an intellectual exercise. It's a spiritual exercise, right? And we don't want to go in with any preconceived notions about what this word is, because we don't want ego or intellect telling us what the word is. We want to hear from within. So don't try too hard, and don't go in with any preconceived notions. And then the other part is, well, two things. One, you might get a word that you just are like, what? That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's okay. That's okay, right? Just don't dismiss it, because you may not understand what it means today or right now. It might take you months to understand what it is. But if that's your word, just be open to it. And then the final comment I'll make is, if you don't get a word, that's okay too. I know it can be really hard to meditate in these settings. I don't know what's going on in your house. Maybe you've got kids running around, or it's just hard to focus. I do want us all to try to genuinely go into meditation, but you may not get a word today. And I will say for myself, oftentimes, if I have a question for Holy Spirit and I go into meditation, it is actually more common for me to get my answers later. I sometimes get an answer right when I come out of meditation, but more often than not, my answers come. They always come, but they might take a day or two. I may feel sort of, everybody hears their answers differently. I tend to hear my answers in written word, and so I'll feel like a pull to pick up a book, or I'll see something in a Facebook thread, or I'll open the Daily Word. Whatever it might be, I generally get my answers in print, and I know they're my answers. I just innately know they're my answers. So if you don't get something during this meditation, that's okay too. Just stay open for the message. Stay open for the message. But this is your word for 2022, and when you get it, we write it down, maybe on a stone at some point if you can find a stone, and then you keep it where you can see it. So with that, I am going to actually play some music. Hopefully it won't be too distracting. It's not meant to be distracting. And you can see that we've lit a candle, a virtual candle, and I am going to take us through a meditation. I'd like to have it be, at least like 5 to 6 minutes. I'm going to let Spirit lead me and kind of tell me the right timing, but let's truly take this time and go into this meditation. And so with that, I'm going to start the music, and I'm just going to talk us through this. So what I want us to do is just to get into a comfortable space. Ideally when we meditate, that space is sitting with our feet on the ground and with our back straight. But if that's not comfortable for you, that's okay. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to breathe in through the nose, and we're going to breathe out through the mouth. So deep breath and out. Take another deep breath in. And out. And one more. Now let's just scan our bodies and note if we have any tension anywhere, any tightness, and just release those areas and relax. And we're just going to dip in, dip within divine presence. We are here with an open heart. And we're here today to hear our unique individual word, our name for 2022. And we're going to sit silently now for a few minutes. If you have thoughts that are distracting you, watch them float by like you'd watch clouds float by in the sky. slowly come back. I'm just going to say a prayer. We're grateful. We're grateful for this time and this opportunity to go within. We are so full of gratitude. And we're open to understanding our name or our word. If we didn't receive one, we have faith that it will come. And if we don't understand it, if we got a word and we don't understand it, we're receptive to it being a word that reflects our highest and our best. And so it is. Amen. Okay. So I hope that was meaningful. And I'm going to switch gears now and close us out with some of the pieces that we usually do at the end of our service, which is first to turn to prayers for others and ourselves. And Glenn mentioned this already, but we have a prayer team here at Unity of the Seacoast, and we pray over any names that we get. So if you haven't already, you can write the initials of somebody that you wish for us to pray for in the chat. Or if you're not comfortable doing that, you can just write an emoji, like a heart emoji, or even type in the words loved ones, and know that we hold those individuals in thoughts of wholeness, light, and love, and we affirm their wholeness and health. And as Tom always says, and I agree with him, the best way to make a prayer land is to tell the person that you're praying for them. So you could reach out via a call or via a message and just let them know that you're praying for them and show your love for them. Next is our affirmation of tithes and offerings. And we have a slide. Here it is. I picked this particular slide because I think it's a beautiful representation of the flow of giving and receiving. And as we give, we also receive. So if you want to hold your hand over your heart, the prayer is, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we're going to end the service with our prayer of protection. We also have a slide for this. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, oneness oneness all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there be peace on earth. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth. Let it be